On to some big breaking news coming in. UK authorizes Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine. It is to be made available across the country from next week. Big breaking development because the United Kingdom has now become the first Western country to license a vaccine against COVID, opening way for mass immunization with Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine to begin in those most at risk. UK has authorized Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine. It will be made available across the country from the next week. Big development indeed, because the race to the vaccine has been the biggest talking point, not just in India, but from around the world. Big breaking development. Our senior executive, Abhishek Kapoor, can perhaps throw some more light on the same.
Well, this is emergency authorization, given the fact that Pfizer has claimed that they are 95% effective so far as the vaccine is concerned. In fact, similar emergency authorization has been sought by Oxford AstraZeneca group, which is also going to manufacture their vaccine in India and tie up with Serum Institute of India. So you can expect that while globally this emergency authorization would be effective next week, even in India over a fortnight, you can see some vaccine available in a controlled situation, perhaps first on frontline health workers and then elderly. So what we are seeing is that rollout of vaccines, or a controlled rollout, I would say, of vaccines has begun. Remember, this is emergency authorization, which means pending due process of scientific authorization where respective drug controllers, certify a vaccine to be safe. Given the fact that in the trials, the efficacy of the vaccines has been proven up to anything between 60 to 90%, 95%. This emergency authorization is essentially aimed at critically ill patients who could be saved. Some lives could be saved. So I think the world is moving now towards getting a COVID vaccine. The Wuhan virus would be combated. And with emergency authorization, one could say that the number of those who could be tested with these vaccines would be much more than even the phase 3 trials. So typically, this would add to the overall efficacy trials of the vaccine. But what is important is at least some critical lives could be saved with this emergency authorization. First with the Pfizer, with the UK authorizing it. And as I said, subsequently, even in India, in a fortnight or so, there could be emergency authorization for the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine.
Yes, this is big indeed, Abhishek. The vaccine has been authorized for emergency use by the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Authority, that is the MHRA. But speaking of this development, Abhishek, indeed a historic moment for the world in its fight against COVID-19.
Oh, obviously. I mean, the huge loss of human life and the tragedies that have unfolded because of this China origin virus, Kritsveen, and it is still unending. And the manner in which it has spread to almost 200 countries around the world, like no nation is left untouched. Every nation has suffered, both in terms of healthcare costs and lives lost, with the United States being the biggest sufferer, actually, and India following at number 2. We have seen how havoc was played by this virus in Europe because everyone was caught unawares and ill-prepared to deal with this kind of pandemic. So obviously, in that context, the trials have been squeezed in. Typically, a vaccine takes 5 to 10 years to develop. This has been done in 10 months or so. But then, if you compare with the kind of the numbers of people who have been lost to this virus, it's important that we don't wait really for due process to pan out for years, but be quick with it so that as many lives as possible could be saved. So in that context, Kritsveen, this is important development. Again, as I said, this is an emergency authorization, so I believe this would still be used only on critically ill patients and not like mass usage, for which still some trials are still pending,
yes,
and subsequent scientific authorization and certification. So I believe that would happen perhaps by Jan or Feb, but this emergency authorization also is important in terms of saving critically ill lives.
Oh, yes. We're looking at the first emergency authorization of the first COVID vaccine. We anticipate further authorizations and approvals as we speak, and now the focus is going to be on moving with the same level of urgency to safely supply a high-quality vaccine, not just in UK but around the world. Many thanks, Abhishek, for sharing that important perspective with us. So we continue staying with the latest updates, and we take you through the official statement as well. We have the official statement with us as far as this approval is concerned. The MHRA statement, and I quote from the statement, "The results reported by Pfizer today are very encouraging and add to their announcement from last week. We look forward to receiving the full results of the trials as soon as possible, after which we will rigorously assess the evidence of safety and effectiveness of the vaccine. Until the end of December, as a part of transition period, COVID-19 vaccine candidates can be licensed via European medicines agencies, and that authorization will automatically be valid in the United Kingdom." So approval process for a potential COVID-19 vaccine that we are breaking down for our viewers